horses. Is it on the radar? Okay, what is this? Is this a prop plane? Okay, never mind. Good random plane. That'll be in the vlog. Shout out to them. Blinking light. There's this jet coming in from Burbank. We're assuming it's him, because what are the odds of a plane coming from California to our town? It's all about Penny! Oh, her 16th birthday! Happy sweet 16, Penny! This is why I hate going to hotels. I have all these bags because my dad didn't get my big suitcase out and I don't want to be a pain in the ass. But my best friend Fred is in this bag. He's in there. Here's everybody for the first trip. Fred is in there. Penny is here. Look how pretty the hardcover is. I know I've seen these. Like, I am intrigued. So Target's going to buy 2 books going free, so I'm definitely looking at I don't know which one of those books comes first. I would think the paperback, but I need to look. This one is this person's got a show commercial. Liked the book from before, so we are going to be getting this one. I've never seen a cover. Romance book. That's really interesting. And then I've seen this football book. What is it? Titled, is this about Travis Kelsey? I assume every sports romance book is a fan fiction of a real life athlete, but okay. Everyone sets on a stake and completely off limits. Never gonna work again with all those clients. Yeah, you should do that. This is a book for today, so that's 2 books, and you can get one more if you get for free. And I can always read more about it in the stores, so these are the 2 books I'm gonna get. Have the second load here. Hey guys, and welcome to a new vlog, the vlog where we are focusing on my book club pick for July. I forgot to turn off the fan before I sat down again, so I'm sorry you hear a fan noise in the background, but this is the week where I'm getting a new AC unit, which is something that we've needed for like 8 years. I am going to be staying in a hotel for half of the vlog. Yeah, so doing things a little bit differently this week by location, but you know, that's all part of the program. So let's look at the weekly TBR, starting with the weekly quote, which is by a well-loved author. And it says, "Love always wins," by Mitch Albom. So that is so true. Be loving, be nice, and you will win at life. Now, the books that we are reading this week, so in the mornings, I'm reading Appalachian Reckoning, a region response to Hillbilly Elegy, edited by Anthony Harkins and Meredith McCarroll. So that's what I'm reading in the morning. It's a critique of Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. Next, this is the book that is our main focus for the week, and that is The Clan of the Cave Bear, the first book in the Earth's Children series by Jean M. Hull. This one is set in prehistoric Europe tens of thousands of years ago. We have Ayla, who is a young girl, and her family dies in a natural disaster. So she is like 5 years old and just out here in the wild by herself, trying to make do, and it's a very dangerous world that she's in. Later, when she is just injured and beat up, dehydrated, a clan walking by, going to a new cave because their old home was destroyed in the same natural disaster. So Izzy is the medicine woman of that clan, and she sees the little girl, laying at like the side of the road or whatever, and she's like, I have to help her. So Izzy brings Ayla to the clan, and Kreb, who is like their spirit guy, Mongor is what they call him. So that's Izzy's brother. So they like really take her in, as one of their own. But then we have Brood, who is the heir to the clan. His father is the leader, and he does not like Ayla whatsoever. He's like, no, I don't think we need to have her in our group. I don't trust her, because Ayla is different. Ayla is like a modern day human, like you and me are. And then the clan of the Cave Bear, they are Neanderthals. So different species of humans, different races of humans. I don't know what the correct terminology is for that. So they are, you know, just going about Ayla's life as she's trying to fit in this new society different than what she calls home. Then we have my mood read, which is Every Bone a Prayer by Ashley Blooms. This is about Misty, who is growing up in Appalachia. She is very connected to the earth, where if she really thinks about something, like even an inanimate object like a bookshelf, she sees its life story, and your name is your life, essentially. Because she tries to find a name for it, and the name is everything that shelf has done, every moment that has made that person or thing what they are, who they are. Now, nobody ever listens to her except the inanimate objects, the animals, all that. Those are the only things that listen to her. And now strange things are starting to happen. Strange statues and all are appearing, and this is set in Appalachia. Next we have my ebook, which is Edge of Eternity, the third book in the Century Trilogy by Ken Follett. This is going from the 1960s to the 1980s, following various characters of how this big political event trickle down and impact everyday normal people. And right now, not really dealing with politics, more of a fun plot line. We're dealing with rock and roll in Hamburg, Germany in 1963 with a band, and these two plot lines, I knew they were going to intersect, and I was just like, how is it going to happen? So I was so happy, like, with what I'm reading right now, seeing the two plot lines come together. But that's the weekly TBR, and I will catch up with y'all when I'm done reading in Cave Bear for the day. Okay, it is time for the update on the clan of the Cave Bear. I only have 3 notes to tell y'all about that I took today. So I did say this is going to be like our main book of the vlog, but again, it's only going to be like half the vlog, because I've been starting books in the middle of the week. This is how it has flowed. But let's go to our notes. This is day 6 of reading, by the way, and I'm sorry about breath. I just walked the dogs. So, you know, when it's 95 degrees, walking dogs. And especially a dog who is like over half my size and weight. Okay, we have a cave bear, and animal cruelty is a thing in this book. We'll say that much. They're at this like gathering of where a lot of the different clans come together like every few years, every 7 years, and get together. They have like contests. They do a lot of different stuff just to see like who's the #1 clan. Like, does that really mean anything? No, but it's just, you know, like when we go to the Olympics and we're the, you know, whoever is #1, whoever gets the most gold medals, it's just like, pat on the back, good job. So they're there. And so I was trying, you know, the clan of the Cave Bear. So the Cave Bear is like their god. That is like their main idol that they follow. And it says, then the Mogor continued, you drink of his blood, now eat of his body, and be one with the spirit of Ursus. I know, I'm blanking on how to say that. Ursa, like Ursa is the constellation, but Ursus, the bear. And that just sounded familiar, you know, drinking the blood, eating the body. You know, with Christianity, that is, when you take communion, the bread you eat is the body of Christ. And in my church, and when I've been to churches in other countries, it had it's grape juice is the blood, but it's wine in a lot of places. That's why I had to preface. So that was kind of interesting that it's the same kind of like ritual kind of thing. And then this one that I took, yeah, it was just all like really trippy. I'll read y'all this paragraph, but I mean, it's probably y'all aren't gonna get anything from it. So for a moment she felt an overwhelming sorrow. Then she was alone. Mogura could follow no more. She found her own way back to herself, and then a little beyond. She had a fleeting glimpse of the cave again, followed by a confusing kaleidoscope of landscapes laid out not with the randomness of nature, but in regular patterns, box-like structures reared up from the earth, and long ribbons of stone spread out along which strange animals crawled at great speeds. Huge birds flew. Those are modes of transportation. The animals crawled would be cars, and the birds, planes. I didn't realize that, but okay. Then more scenes, so strange she couldn't comprehend them. It happened in an instant, in her rush to reach the present. There was a slight overshoot, a small spike beyond her time, just to where she might have diverged again. Then her mind was clear, and she looked out from behind a pillar at 10 men seated in a circle. I just thought that was really interesting, just seeing, because a lot of this, the Neanderthal, you know, this is science, their brain is like in a different location of the head. The head is a different size than our heads are, and it's just saying what, I mean, obviously we don't know, I don't know if they've ever found a brain of one of these beings, and you're all like, how would they find a brain that's 10,000 years old? Look at like, see the Iceman and just mummified remains, where it's incredible the stuff they can find in the mummified bodies. Really, really incredible. So I'm saying that their brain just works differently. It can do different things than our brain can in the book. In real life, I don't know, but it's like we have a frontal lobe. They do not have a frontal lobe. And there's my friend Marquise said in the book club that we can only use a certain percent of our brain, and we don't even know what those other parts of our brain are used for. And that's just insane to think about. It's crazy, because I mean, that, you know, it's with you every day, and we don't even know everything that it can do. We don't know how far it can be turned up or whatever, you know. So it's just, the human body and humanity is such a fascinating topic. If I had gone to college, when I was in high school, I wanted to major in design and merchandising, but which I still kind of do, design and merchandising, but I would love to study anthropology. I know you don't really get a lot of careers from that, but it's just so fascinating to learn about anthropology. And yeah, it's incredible. It's just incredible how all of that works. So I'm gonna have some dinner now, but I do want to say, so I tried to get tickets to see Gavin Newsom today, who's the governor of California, because I mean, he's probably in a run for president, and I would vote for him. I shouldn't be talking about that on here, but he is I looked this up before, because the last name, my great-grandmother was a Newsom. So I went through census records of like 4 different states. Yeah, South Carolina, Virginia, Indiana, California. And so Gavin Newsom is my 7th cousin, twice removed. So that's pretty cool. So if I had gone to his meeting group, which he's on his way here right now, most likely, but if I had gone to his meeting group, that's tomorrow, I would tell him that he's my 7th cousin, twice removed. I don't know, that'd be weird to tell him, but I think it's cool. So, and he seems like a cool guy. So, yeah, he has that fire in him, and I appreciate that. So I would have liked to see him, but the event was full, so I couldn't get in. But yeah, it was just so cool. Like, this guy I followed for years coming to my town. Like, what are the odds? But yeah, so that is all for today. I don't know for today, but for right now, because I don't know what person I'm at in every bone of prayer, I am skimming through that book at this point, because it's whole like purple prose. Like, it's so much purple prose. I'm like, get to the point. I'm not here for all this la-di-da-di, let's make it look pretty. No. That's not my writing style. That's not the writing style. Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. We are having a crazy lightning storm right now. My pets are really scared, so if you hear whining or panting, that's why. But I just finished the Clan of the Cave Bear, and we are going to do Call Pal for it. I read 33 pages in here today, and we are going to, as I said, go through Call Pal. So characters, I am going to give the characters a 3-star, which, I mean, might be generous, I don't know. So I think the idea of having Neanderthals as characters and being like the main group in here, and having like the modern day human be the minority, I think this is such a unique idea, because the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, what were humans doing? But I'm like, Neanderthal history, I think, is more interesting, because there's no Neanderthals to tell their stories anymore. We have to go through science to uncover their stories. So I do think that was a really unique and cool idea to have Neanderthals be like the main focus of this story. But our character of Ayla is kind of a chosen one. This is a historical fiction book, and I feel like chosen ones you're mainly going to see in fantasy and sci-fi, mainly fantasy though. But there's just constantly exceptions made for her, and everything, like, she does go through some rough stuff, like awful stuff, but there's always going to be an exception made for her. There's never really high stakes with her story, because you just know she's going to be alright, because constantly, as I said, exceptions being made for the character. And I never felt a strong emotional attachment to these characters. I don't think there was a lot. I think the writing style really took away from the character work and plot work that the book could have had. So atmosphere, I would give the atmosphere a 5-star. Let's put a 5 down, because the amount of research, which will go on with the logic, the amount of research to build this world and the world building that was done was extremely fantastic, very picturesque, because this is a world that we live in. This is modern day, like Crimea, which is a real place, but this is tens of thousands of years ago, and you have to kind of reinvent this world that we already know, but throwing you back in time, and I think the author did a really good job with that. Now, the writing is where I am really unsure what to give this writing, because there is so much info dumping that it just took away from the character work. It took away from the plot, where it's just like you're just having all this research that the author did thrown at you, that it can be a bit overbearing. In my head, I'm stuck between a 3 and a 2, so we're going to do a 2. The plot doesn't really bring anything new to the table. This is very much slice of life, seeing the day-to-day life of a girl in prehistoric times who's trying to find her place in society and trying to... I'm sorry, I'm so distracted right now. The heat and this and the dogs, it's crazy. It's a girl trying to fit in, and that is the plot of the story. I was just bored with it, because again, the stakes weren't high or anything like that, so we're going to give it a 3, is what I'm feeling. Intrigue, I'm going to do a 2, because there were no stakes. As I said, those exceptions constantly being made for her, and when something bad would happen, I'm like, she's going to be alright in the end, so I didn't really care. But yeah, again, with the logic, we are giving that a 5, because the research put into this book, the acknowledgments in the physical copy come first, but I didn't read them since they weren't in the audiobook, so they came last in the audiobook, so I didn't hear them to the end. So to hear about the extent where the author went to Mount Hood in Oregon and spent the night in a cave there in a bed that like ancient humans would have slept in the middle of January. So that is definitely crazy. And then enjoyment, I would give the enjoyment a 3, because I did like being put into this world. I liked learning about all this. I liked the mythology and everything that was incorporated, the culture of these Neanderthal people. I did enjoy all of that. So we're going to do the math now to see where all of this will end up on the rating scale. So we have a 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 is a 23, and we're going to divide that by 7, and this is getting a 3.28, so we'll do it as a 3.25 into, you know, the websites and everything. So I'm not racing to pick up the next book in this. I will put it on my Amazon wish list, but it's not one that I want to get to very soon. I'm not going to buy it, you know, now that I just finished this one. But I would be fine reading the next book, but again, I'm not in a rush to do it. So maybe if any of this does sound intriguing to you, I'd recommend it with a maybe. Now, I'm going to go to me of the past and discuss with you how we picked out the next book we're going to be focusing on in this book. Hey guys, we're going to be doing something totally different, hopefully fun. We're going to go on a bookish scavenger hunt to find out which book I'm adding to my TBR next. As you all saw previously, We are in July. I am filming this on April 13th. The Masters are currently going on, if that gives you an idea of the date, because I could be wrong. But we are going to look at all these things, all these clues, and find out which book is going to be next. I found this on Ellen's channel. I don't remember what her username is, but I know she was inspired by Riley Marie. And I am going to just go to Google and type in like Bookish Scavenger Hunt prompts and see what we get. But I did want to say where I got the inspiration from. Let's go to the shelves and see what we're going to end up with. Written down the first 5 prompts since I am filming this on my phone. The first one is find an author name or title with the letter Z in it. I instantly thought of Marcus Zuzak. I don't remember where I put his book, but he had a nonfiction book release recently this year, I'm pretty sure. We're going to look for that because it does have a Z in it. Update, why am I not finding this book? Like, it is literally missing. I thought it would be on that shelf over there, but I could not find it. So it's on one of these right in front of me. So it does it with a Z in it. So their name, like my name, has a Z in it. So if we can't find Marcus Zuzak, we have to find somebody else who has a Z in their name or a Z in the title. One right under y'all, and that is The Overlooked Americans by Elizabeth Currid Halkett. This is the resilience of our rural towns and what it means for our country. So this is not what we're going to be reading, but random books. I've never done this before. I'm like, what is the point of finding all this random stuff? But I guess the last book that we do is the one I end up reading. So let's see the next prompt. Find a classic. That should be easy to do because I have my shelves sorted by genre. Right at the top of the shelf is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I got this at a little free library, and yes, this is like a junior classics for children, fully illustrated and adapted, but Anne of Green Gables was originally written for children. Again, I got this at a little free library, and I do have the audio. It's free on Audible with my subscription, so that is how I will read this book one day when we get to it. Forgot to see what our next prompt is. Find a book with a key on the cover. Now, when I was looking for the Marcus Zuzak one, I did see a book for this because when I was writing this down, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to take off all the books off of the shelves, but I did find one. Let me go get it. Turned on the light over there, so hopefully y'all can see things better. But this is The Yellow Wife by Cicada Johnson. It is a historical fiction. As you can see, there's a key right there and a key on the side. Let's actually see what this. Oh, look at these end pages. Those are the end pages. It says this is born on a plantation in Charles City, Virginia. Phoebe Dolores Brown has lived a sheltered life, shielded by her mother's position as the estate's medicine woman and cherished by the master's sister. She is set apart from the others on the plantation, belonging to neither world. I've heard great things about this book from friends and, just people in the bookish community. What is our next prompt here? Find something on your bookshelf that isn't a book. I have this right here that is a craft that I did in a previous vlog back in January or February, I'm not sure, but it was one of my Valentine's Day crafts that I did, and it's just like a squishy pizza toy, so like a stress ball. I don't really like to do it because I'm scared that it's going to mess up the ink, but we have a little pizza squishy friend there. Let's see what the next prompt is after that. Find the oldest book on your shelf. This is going to definitely be hard because you can do that in a lot of different ways. You can be like, I've owned this book the longest, or maybe you got a book used and it's old, or even a classic, but I do know what I am going to pick, so I'm going to go get it. It's right back there on one of those top shelves, so I'm going to have to climb. Okay, I hope that sound isn't too bad, but when I went to this link, I did not realize there are so many prompts. 14, and there's even more than that. But the old book, I don't know if this is the oldest book that I own. I got this at like Black Creek Books in Annapolis, which is a used bookstore. So as you can see, really old. This is the Pioneer History of Orleans County, and I got this for $45. It's a first edition. That is the author Arad Thomas, and this is from 1871. So America, right after the Civil War, was when this book was published. Let's see our next prompt here. Find a book with a girl on the cover. I think romance will be the way to go, but I'm actually seeing one right now, so I'm just gonna pull that down right here, and that is Cher, the memoir part 1, because Cher is a girl, and she is on the cover. So this is Cher's memoir. There is only one Cher, and for 7 decades, she has been showing us why. With a life too big for one volume, Cher holds the attention of the world with her voice, her acting, her style, her wit, and her unstoppable spirit. Now, for the first time, she tells her story in her own voice, a voice that is as honest as it is hilarious, as powerful as it is perceptive. And again, in pages with her eyes, super pretty. Let's see our next prompt. Find a book with a boy on the cover. And again, we're going with a wild one for this. We're going with another nonfiction right here. A boy is a man. And this, I don't know who that is. Is it Hannibal? Is it Hannibal? I think it is Hannibal. But this is Adrian Goldsworthy, The Fall of Carthage. And that has a man on the cover. What is our next one? Find a book with an animal on the cover. Now, this is going to be a little harder. We could do a penguin book because they technically have penguins, but let me look around and see what I can find. Sticking with my nonfiction shelf, we have Alexander at the End of the World, The Forgotten Final Years of Alexander the Great by Rachel Kusher. There is a horse on the cover, so I think the title is pretty self-explanatory. Oh my gosh, I have not seen these in pages. This one was a gift. I mean, Santa Claus himself got me this book. So it says a riveting biography of Alexander the Great's final years, when the leader's insatiable desire to conquer the world set him off on an exhilarating, harrowing journey that would define his legacy. Let's see, what is our next one? Find a book with a male protagonist. So we're going to have to leave our nonfiction behind and look at our fiction, a male protagonist. Do I do it all that often? I mean, I just did. So let's go look. Okay, this one is actually kind of different. This is We Love You, Charlie Freeman by Caitlin Greenidge. Is that how you would say that? The Freeman family, Charles, Laurel, and their daughters, teenage Charlotte and 9-year-old Callie, have been invited to the Toonie Bee Institute to participate in a research experiment. They will live in an apartment on campus with Charlie, a young chimp abandoned by his mother. The Freemans were selected because they know sign language. They are supposed to teach it to Charlie and welcome him as a member of their family. But when Charlotte discovers the truth about the Institute's history of questionable studies, the secrets of the past invade the present in devious ways. So Charlie, this is all, his name is in the title, and he is a male chimp. So that's why I went with that one. Let's see our next prompt. Find a book with only words. Is that one? I think with only words on it. This is going to be kind of difficult. Okay, this one, I bought it used and it did not come with a dust jacket, so I do not know if the dust jacket has words on it or not, but as you can see on the side, it says Diana Gabaldon, Lord John, and The Private Matter. So this one only has words on it, technically. Now we need to find a book with illustrations, which I think, because a lot of books now, have like illustrations at the start of chapters. I think we're going to have to look at fantasy for this. I feel like fantasy is going to be the one that really does that. That proved very difficult. None of the fantasy books on my shelf that y'all are on had illustrations in them, even for the start of, chapters. So I'm going with one with an illustrated cover, which is American Royals by Catherine McGee. This was another one that was a gift and friends have recommended to me. Oh, let me tell y'all what it's about. When America won the Revolutionary War, its people offered General George Washington a crown. 2.5 centuries later, the House of Washington still sits the throne. And we do have illustrated in pages as well. Do the chapters have illustrated headers? Kind of, but not that early. I wouldn't really count that one. Now, our next prompt is find a book with gold letters on it. We're going to the romance section now, and that is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. As you can see, that is gold. I also got this one in a little free library in Williamsburg, Virginia. And this is about when two young rival journalists find love through magical connection. They must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fates forever. This is extremely, extremely popular, and I'm sure y'all have heard of it. Next, we have a diary. It can be a fact or, nonfiction or a fictional diary. Let's see what I can find. I do not own Anne Frank's diary, so don't think I'm going to go with that. I'm going with a memoir, which I know technically isn't really a diary, but we're going with Dirty Rocker Boys, Love and Lust on the Sunset Strip by Bobby Brown with Caroline Ryder, which I have read this book before. And then I think my friend Sarah got me this book again because I didn't own a physical copy. I had done the ebook. I think it was Sarah who got me this. Yeah, but it doesn't say it there. But this one is all about Bobby Brown, who was like a video vixen. I think that's what they were called, like the girls in the music videos, and then she married a rock star. Our next one is a writer with a common name. Sticking to the same shelf, again, our common name, that's going to be different for everybody. I think that's something pretty subjective, but Kate and Kennedy, I both feel like are pretty common names. We have one in a millennial on friendship, feelings, fangirls, and fitting in. It says, host of the popular millennial-focused podcast Be There in 5, Kate Kennedy takes us on a nostalgic pop culture tour through in the millennial zeitgeist in One in a Millennial. Part funny, part serious, Kate navigates the complicated nature of celebrating and criticizing the culture that shaped her as a woman, for better or worse, while arguing that great depths can come from surface level interest. And this one does have cool end pages as well. I need to go see what the next prompts are in this tag or vlog or whatever we're doing here. I pulled the hair up in like a messy bun, so it's not going to be hitting the microphone. But yeah, there are 25 prompts. Now y'all are like, why didn't you check it out before you did this? Because I did not want to get spoiled and have preconceived notions of what books I was going to choose. But 15, find a book that has something close up on the cover, and the example they used was one of Tahara Mafi's books that had like a close up of an eye on the cover. And that makes me think we need to do like a close up like body part, because anything like, you know, it's going to seem closer than it appears because it's on a book cover. We're going to just have to find something that is very zoomed in. With our nonfiction, we're going with The Black Dahlia by James Ellroy, which I feel like that's pretty close up of a woman's face. I think was this a book or is this like a movie, like novelization? But on January 15th, 1947, the torture-ravished body of a beautiful young woman is found in a Los Angeles vacant lot. The victim makes headlines as the Black Dahlia, and so begins the greatest manhunt in California history. Our next prompt takes place in the earliest time period, and y'all know I love historical fiction. I was actually shocked by on this blog post that I'm following, like they were saying like Romeo and Juliet, which that's like Renaissance times, which to me, y'all know, I like Paleolithic, Neolithic, Stone Age. I love that kind of thing. Let me see what I can find for y'all. Yeah, as soon as I saw the prompt, I knew what I was going to pick. This is The Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean M. Oh, I've never found out how you say her name. This novel of awesome beauty and power is a moving saga about people, relationships, and the boundaries of love. Through the author's magnificent storytelling, we are taken back to the dawn of modern humans with a girl named Isla. We are swept up in the harsh and beautiful Ice Age world they shared with ones who called themselves the Clan of the Cave Bear. This is dealing with like Neanderthals and all of that. So this is way back. It says extend from 35,000 to 25,000 years before the present. I don't know how much further back you can go other than like Adam and Eve. I'm going with that one, the Clan of the Cave Bear. And next this is one that I should have saved, the Lord John Grey one. A hardcover book without the dust jacket. We need to find one of those. And I had one right there with The Odyssey by Homer. As you can see, this is a cloth-bound edition that does not come with a dust jacket. Now we are looking for a teal or turquoise colored book. I see what I'm going to do though. With this one, it is the spine that is that teal or turquoise color. This is The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion, from one of America's iconic writers. A stunning book of electric honesty and passion, Joan Didion explores an intensely personal yet universal experience, a portrait of a marriage and a life, in good times and bad, that will speak to anyone who has ever loved a husband or wife or child. Next, we need to find a book that has stars on the cover. Going to historical fiction, as you can see, there are stars on the side, and this is The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. Again, this is a book of the month. I don't think we've done a book of the month one, actually. This is an extraordinary story set in the 1st century about a woman who finds her voice and her destiny from the celebrated best-selling author of The Secret Life of Bees and the Invention of Wings. The next prompt is a non-YA, which pretty much, I don't think I've shown any YA except Anne of Green Gables. That's not really my wheelhouse, so this one's going to be super easy. I picked the book that was right next to the last one I showed you, and that is Homeseeking by Carissa Chin. This is a historical, again, book of the month. Hywin is buying bananas at a $99 or 99 ranch market in Los Angeles when he looks up and sees Suchi, his Suchi, for the first time in 60 years. To recently widowed Hywin, it feels like a second chance, but Suchi has only survived by refusing to look back. So it's an epic, intimate Homeseeking is a story of family, sacrifice, and loyalty, of the power of love to endure beyond distance, beyond time. We have 5 more prompts now. 5, yep, 5, and we will see what book I'm going to be reading in this vlog. We are down to those last few prompts. This one is find the longest book you own, and I would have to open Goodreads, which y'all know I'm filming this on my phone and can't really do that, but I'm going to take you to some of the longest books that I own. Okay, I didn't know I can't switch the you know, to the other camera. Those up there, the Outlander books, some of those are over 1,100 pages in length. They are very, very lengthy. Let's see what our next one is. The shortest book that you own. This is kind of a spoiler for the future, but my TBR next year. That's a hint. Now, find a book with multi-POVs. I know what I am doing for that. We're going to my favorite series over here. This is A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin. There are so many POVs in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. There, you know, he does the list of characters and all of that. But yes, we are alternating POVs in this book. We have Tyrion. I think this is all like our Eastern characters. Oh, maybe not. Jon. And we'll do one more. Daenerys. Iconic. Such iconic characters there. Now we need to find find a shiny book. So we need to find one that's shiny, even though this is kind of shiny, you can see that, but we're not doing that. We're not counting it. We are, however, going to go with the book in that same series because this light keeps hitting it and I'm like, oh my gosh. But it does have that acetate cover over it. This is a Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. Again, these are the books that made the Game of Thrones TV show. I don't know if I said that, but I think that would be kind of obvious if you're familiar with the world, but these are like the first edition copies that I own. Now this is going to be the book that we focus on in this vlog. So a book with flowers on the cover. Now I'm really going to have to look because this is going to have to be a book that I want to read, and it's scary. Yeah, I definitely did not see this book, like this video going where it did, but I am choosing Every Rising Sun by Jamila Ahmed. This is an ARC, even though this book did come out in 2023. I got this a long time ago. And this is in this riveting take on 1001 Nights. So this might be a retelling. Shahrazad, at the center of her own story, uses wit and political mastery to navigate opulent places brimming with treachery and the perils of the Third Crusade as her Persian homeland teeters on the brink of destruction. As you can see, there are a lot of flowers. There were so many books that I wanted to read that had plants on them, but not flowers. But I do love like Persian books. This one is by a Pakistani American writer. Right there she is. Lovely picture, and I like how it has like the plants and all, kind of like this does. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but this is going to be the book that we read in this vlog. So let me actually read the back of the book to you. In 12th century Persia, clever and dreamy Shahrazad stumbles on the Malik's beloved wife entwined with a lover in a sun-dappled courtyard. When Shahrazad recounts her first tale, the story of this infidelity to the Malik, she sets the Seljuk Empire on fire. Enraged at his wife's betrayal, the once gentle Malik beheads her. But when that killing does not quench his anger, the Malik begins to marry and behead a new bride each night. Oh, furious at the murders, his province seethes on rebellion's edge. To suppress her guilt and quell threats of a revolt and perhaps marry the man she has loved since childhood, Shahrazad persuades her beloved father, the Malik's vizier, to offer her as the next wife. On the wedding night, Shahrazad begins a yarn, But as the sun ascends, she cuts the story short, ensuring that she will live to tell another tale, a practice she repeats night after night. But the Malik's rage runs deep for Shahrazad to ex- exercise. It's, when you're having an exorcism alone. And so she and her father persuade the Malik to leave Persia to join Saladin's fight against the Crusaders in Palestine. With plots spun against the Seljuks from all corners, Shahrazad must maneuver through intrigue in the age's greatest courts to safeguard her people. All the while, she must keep the Malik enticed with her otherworldly tales, because the slightest misstep could cost Shahrazad her head. The suspenseful first-person retelling is vividly rendered through the voice of a fully imagined Shahrazad, a book lover whose late mother bestowed the gift of story that becomes her power. Created over 14 years of writing and research, Jamila Ahmed's gorgeously written debut is a celebration of storytelling and a love letter to the medieval Islamic world that brings to life one of the most enduring and intriguing women characters of all time. We will have to see what I think of this. It's now time to do my update on Every Rising Sun. I only read 32 pages in here, which is typical since I only, had one sitting with the book so far, and I'm gonna go through my notes with y'all. Basically everything that was in the first paragraph of the synopsis is happening. Like, our main character Shahrazad, she finds the Malik or Malik's wife cheating on him, and she's just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So we're gonna go through my notes that I have so far. I think there's only like 4 or 5 notes. I'm like, with the introduction or whatever, the prologue, I'm like, please give me world building to help me understand this world, because I don't even know what country we would be in, like what modern day country or anything like that. But we're in Persia back in the 1100s is my guess, from what it said on the back of the book. So I'm like, I don't know anything about this, the medieval Islamic world. So we want the world building to be happening. And then we have part 1, and this is where it has the years. So it says 587 after Hijrah. So I'm like, is that Muhammad, the prophet? Is that him? And then 1191 after the death of Izzy. So is that Jesus? I'm assuming, because that's when the dates kind of add up. So I'm not sure, but if y'all know, let me know in the comments, because that will be much appreciated. My next one is I can see Shahrazad becoming a people pleaser, because she had this really embarrassing moment at the Malik's wedding where she fell down right in front of the new couple. So I think she's gonna be one. And then we have a scene with her dad, and she didn't really let anyone touch her after her mother passed away, and she her dad learned to braid her hair exactly like her mother, and I was like, oh my gosh, emotional. And so I was like, I am going to love the dad, because he just seems so sweet, and we love to see the father-daughter relationships portrayed in books. And my second to last is, we had these excerpts that are italicized. Now I'm like, is this maybe just what is happening with the other characters, or is this from the 1001 Nights, like an excerpt from 1001 Nights? I am not sure what these little italicized parts are, because I was like, maybe this is from the original, book that this is based on. But then later on we have one where I'm like, this seems like it could be what is happening with our other characters, because this is told in first-person perspective, and we've just been following one character the whole time. So I'm not exactly sure what those italicized moments are about. And then my last note says, I struggle to play, I'll just read the whole paragraph. I lead the guardsman, light with the relief. Something foreign flushes through me. I struggle to place the feeling that until I realize it is power, small and startling, this ability to captivate with my tales and achieve my ends. It sits on my tongue, strange and sour at first. Slowly it sweetens. I think power is going to be a big theme here, and a woman finding her power, because I don't know if I didn't say, but if you've watched my TBR video, this is a theme, that kind of is a theme. But when I read The Last Housewife last week, that was kind of a theme of going through all these relationships with men. I'm not even saying romantic relationships, but all the different kinds of relationships with men in your life, and how to break free of that, become your own woman, be strong and powerful in who you are. And in that book, there is a lot of talk about 1001 Nights and Scheherazade. So I'm curious if that's what her story is just gaining power for herself, and all these relationships that she's had builds who she is as a person, which I do think your relationships in life is what makes you who you are as a person, or at least one of the things that builds who you are as a person. So I'm curious if that's going to be the main theme here. That's what I'm thinking. 7% of the way into the book is what I'm thinking. But yeah, I don't have, I mean, yeah, I'm only 30 pages into a 400-page book. But I was just like really frustrated getting into my reading today, because I told y'all it's so hot and the storms, and then just other stuff. Because I don't want to be putting negative vibes out there, but I was just like not focusing really on what I was reading. So I hope that I was articulate enough and everything. I cannot wait to have caffeine. I did have sweet tea at lunch, but you know, I need a soda. It's gonna be a while. I still have to get my amount of water to have in a day, but yeah, the day started out great. With Penny's birthday, but then from 3 o'clock to now, like 7:30, I've just been constantly doing stuff, and I'm like, I want to chill out. Can you believe I watched 2 Netflix episodes of Quarterback today? That, it's fine. It's like a 3-star. I find myself bored at times. Yeah, it's fine. then I've just been tired because I've been staying up really late, which I should not be doing, because on Sunday going into Monday I watched Sinners, which recommending that movie. It was really good. And then last night I rewatched an episode of Stranger Things, and then I was just listening to my music, and I was like, I've never listened to Guts by not Sabrina, I know the fans are gonna come for me, by Olivia Rodrigo, but I've only liked songs that I'd heard from the album. So I saw the album was only 39 minutes. So I was like, I will give it a go. And I thought it was a great album. I would give it a 4-star, because the ballads in the middle, I was just, again, bored. I was like, I'm not a ballad person. I don't really like ballads. But the lyrics it was very well written. I don't know if she writes her own songs or not, but whoever, her or anybody else, they did a fantastic job. And I thought it was a great album and just fun. It was like kind of 90s vibes to me. Like, there used to be the band The Pink Slips, which is not 90s, but like that same kind of vibe. I don't know if the Pink Slips still make music. I don't think they do, but what was that bikini band called from the 90s? But yeah, just really like girl pop punk. I don't even know, like a girl version of Green Day is what it sounded like. It sounded like Green Day to me. But yeah, that's me rambling. I am going to have some dinner. I need to feed the cats as per usual. Just like, I got to 78%, 82% according to Fable. It's different on every website, not even lying. But so we'll say 82 because that's the furthest percent. So I got to 82% in Every Bone, a Prayer by Ashley Bloom. So I just want to go through my thoughts so far. This is definitely in the 3-star category, like Cave Bear was. Let's talk about our character. The characters I would give a 4-star. I love just seeing the innocence of a child and being out in nature, just the thoughts that she's having. I've definitely been there, and this is the kind of character that I love being in the head of. And just, as I said, seeing the innocence of a child and seeing that innocence be broken and trying to hold on to it, but at the same time wanting to throw it away. Atmosphere. The atmosphere is good. We'll give atmosphere a 3. This is taking place in Appalachia. I would say like West Virginia, but I'm not 100%. I don't know if it ever says what state. Yeah, it's just, it kind of gives fairy tale vibes. It's a magical realism story. This is technically a fantasy according to Goodreads. That's what most people have listed it as. Then we have the writing, and the writing is a 2. There are some really beautiful reflective instances, but this is like purple prose, like at an extreme, that the reader could understand something in one sentence, but the author has to give us 5 sentences explaining the same thing, and that just makes me want to skim those paragraphs that are gonna go on for, you know, like that long. I don't need that. I don't need a paragraph that is the length of a page. It just is not my writing style at all. And then the plot is good. Yeah, 3-star for plot. We are seeing what trauma does to a child and how they react to it, how they are trying to get an understanding of what is happening to them, but also trying to sink down into something that they know and love, but they don't really have an understanding of the world around them. I'm sorry, my thoughts are so scattered. Y'all know I've been scatterbrained today. They are trying just, yeah, to find that place and trying to seek solace in what they love, but also, as I said, pushing that away and just being at a very confused state. And also how trauma can cause you just to disassociate. I think that that's a good word for what I was trying to describe, disassociating, and how it can just tear you apart inside. And especially to a child, it is a lot more confusing. I think trauma is only something that's really confusing for the human mind to comprehend. It's just like, why is this happening to me kind of deal. But for a 10-year-old little girl, just trying to make sense of what is happening to her, why this is happening to her, yeah, I think it just does a great job at showing that. And I know I said a 3, but it's more like a 3.5, so I guess like a 4. I think it does a good job. So the writing is just my biggest complaint here that I'm having a major issue with, but it is a good book. Hey, so. The young man is right here. You were in a hotel. I've been telling you you're gonna go to a hotel. He has stayed in a hotel before. He stayed in 2 hotels before. So he's always kind of like hesitant at first, has to find a spot to hide, like under the table or whatever. But then he gets more adjusted. So I guess he's just gonna hide behind his bag right now. Meow. He's very confused. You have your food and water and litter box here. Oh, is that a table he's on? Yeah. Okay, I don't know what's over there, so let me look. You had to get in a corner. Can y'all see him? No, he's behind the bag. No, you can't fit under there. You're too big. Yeah, he's probably gonna get under the desk. I go under there. Yeah, you can't get under the couch. I don't think any cat can fit under that. Fred's just giving y'all like a hotel room tour. So I want him to go over here, yep. To see where his litter box and his... I would have put the litter box in the bathroom. My dad came earlier and did everything. Because when we've traveled before, I've had it in the bathroom, but... Are you gonna lead me in there? I haven't been in there yet. Yeah, this carpet, their claws, like... You can hear it. So I don't know if you can get under this bed or not, because at one hotel, I think in Kentucky, he got under the bed, and I was just terrified the whole time. Oh, yeah, in Indiana, he liked... like this under the sink area. What a mirror. So yeah, y'all are getting Fred's hotel room tour from the young man himself. I mean, what a handsome guide. Yeah, that's the human bathroom. Oh, you gotta look at yourself? He's like, that's a handsome boy. Yeah, human bathroom. And then the bed. Here's the outfit of the day, by the way. Target and Nikes. Yeah, I don't think you can fit between there. Yeah, here's the bed. Yeah, you have to go look in all these little nooks and crannies. Oh, so he can go under the bed here, which I hate. Yeah, so he's probably gonna chill out under there for a little bit. So I will just leave him on his own being, which again, I don't like. Whoa, this is, I can see a lot from up here, but I don't like leaving him under a bed because I don't know what's under that bed. You know, like people could have thrown stuff under there. Just worried cat mom over here. So it's Wednesday. I have read, I wish there was something to hold those back. I'm still going to be going back and checking on the house and everything, but just while they're doing the construction, not construction, but you know, repairs, I'm going to be here because it's probably going to be loud and stuff, and I don't want to put up with that. So yes, I need to go to the bathroom. I've been drinking water all day. So yeah, I've never stayed at this hotel before. Yeah, so, you know, when was the last time I stayed at a Marriott, to be honest with y'all? It's been, did I stay in one in Virginia? I think I did. I might have in Virginia, but I'm about to head over to Target, still go on the weekly Target run. Yeah, so Fred seems to be under there. I hear his little bell, so yeah. Guys, look at the young man. Look at him. So I got to 20% in Every Rising Sun, so we will go through the thoughts that I've had so far. I did buy some books today at Target because Target was having it's Target Circle Week, so they had buy two get one free. So you're just gonna have to go to TikTok or somewhere. Is it on 68? Yeah, I set it on 68, but it's currently 70, and it is freezing in here, and I'm just all over the place. Haven't I been like for days now? But let's go to my notes in here. I only read, I think it was 53 pages in here. I actually need to write that down. So not that much, because I am taking in, there's not a lot of world building here, but it's like terms I'm not familiar with and all of that, and just a culture that I am not so familiar with. I've seen it in some movies of what medieval times were like in Islamic cultures. It's just something that I don't know a lot about, and I am having to like grasping at straws trying to get an understanding of it. So also my reading time for the 6 o'clock hour did get slightly interrupted. Like I started like 10 minutes late, so if I had 10 more minutes I might have been able to read more. But so what is happening in the plot, Scheherazade has married the Malik, so she is now the what is the word, I'm not seeing it on the back here, but she is now married to the leader of their people, and you know, he's been killing his wives, and we're gonna get more into that. So in chapter 4, they are still mourning the first wife, the one, you know, that Scheherazade caught cheating on the Malik. And it says they mourned her, and the people of Bam, they mourned their Khatan despite how she was found. They mourned her for her generosity for the mosque and madrasas she established, for her patronage of musicians and poets and artists. They mourned her despite Shahryar's rage, draped their homes in black, beat their chests in grief until Shahryar sent soldiers to silence them. And that just reminded me of Princess Diana. you know, when she passed, everybody was like mourning her, even though like the royal family had some beef with her, you know. And then this, when it's going to the second wife, she's telling this quote, "I'm afraid," Shahrazad, she said softly and skipped a little bit, "I fear that something will happen to me like Fatina Katan." And I'm like, this reminds me of like Henry VIII, how he was going through wives, having them killed, you know, until they gave him a son. Also, when I first heard about this story, it reminded me of The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. Is that who it's by? Again, with going through multiple wives, killing them. So I do not know if The Bloody Chamber was inspired by 1001 Nights, not sure. Now we have 2 more tabs, I think, here. Oh, 3 more. We have a yellow tab down. With the plot, we're really thrown right into the story of what I read y'all as the synopsis of this. You're thrown right into that. I just wish there had been a little more building, which is so funny to say because the book we read before this, I was complaining about there being too much building, and then this one, there's not enough building. And then we have Shahrazad, who she's making her plan of she's going to marry the Malik. And I think something's gonna happen to her sister Danya because like she's just like so loving, so loved, and I'm like, psh, they're gonna pull the carpet out from under her and it's gonna be awful. But there are also a lot of excerpts that are stories being told. That is kind of Shahrazad's thing, is she is a storyteller and we will actually hear those stories. And for me, that's just a bit like, oh my, I'm trying to get an understanding of our story as it is and the culture that we're in, the world that we're in. But then you're throwing these stories at me, which I do think stories and fairy tales and whatever, they do really open up a culture to you. But it's just when I'm trying to get attached to one story and you're throwing me into these other stories, it's just getting convoluted, I guess would be the way to say it. And so I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I do think that is like her thing. And maybe in the original book, she is like a storyteller or whatever. So those are my thoughts on Every Rising Sun for the day. I'm going to make some pizza. I hope they have silverware and all here. Like, this kind of hotel is supposed to make you feel at home. It's an extended stay kind of hotel. So they have like an oven and everything. So I would think they have silverware, and I do see some plates in there. So, and Fred he did get out from the bed. So he's out here with me while I was vlogging. The young man. I don't know, have I like done an introduction for the day? It's Thursday, so again, more chaos in my life. So Penny had some, I know people are like, I don't even like to get my dog's medical stuff out here. I feel like that's exploitative or whatever, but you know, people get their kids stuff out here. But so she had just some symptoms of a UTI, which she had said a UTI before. So we called the vet and they were able to get us in, and it was very boom quick appointment where they, you know, checked if she had fever. They took a urine sample, and so it turns out that yes, she does have a UTI. But I was so worried beforehand, even though like she's been through this before. But you know, when you have a 16-year-old dog, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, is this it? You know, knock on wood. But yeah, so it's just a UTI, so just antibiotics, 1 pill a day. But I was scared, but everything worked out. And then with the AC update, so they got our, not thermostat. The thermostat is the one thing inside they have left to do, and the rest is just doing some stuff with the ductwork. Y'all know I don't know how to say that word. So that's that, but that's outside where they have to do that. So it should be ready by noon tomorrow, but we have the hotel room, like we have it past that, so they can take their time. I mean, hopefully it doesn't take that much time, because you know, I would like to get back to my house, and I know Fred would, because he's just kind of driving me crazy. He's very clingy as it is, and then when we're in a new place, new environment, he is extra clingy. But I wasn't going to open any packages in this vlog, but my dad, when he went to pick up some things from the house earlier, the mail lady, yeah, there's like 3 mail people. That's another thing. I had the mailman, he literally like threw it wasn't my package, but he threw my dad's package up on the porch like that. And this is the second time this has happened with this man in 9 days. So I did file a report with USPS, which I always feel bad doing that, but I'm like, and I told them, it was like an older man, and I was like, I understand that he's an older gentleman and the steps might be a lot for him. He can just leave it at the bottom step, because I didn't say I'm young and I can do it, but I'm like, that's fine, I can walk down the steps and get it, because like I get it, steps can be a lot for older people. So but I don't want my packages tossed onto the porch. So I filled out all that, and I don't know if he was the postmaster or what, but a man from the post office called me and was like, I'm gonna talk to him, and because we do not tolerate tossing packages at all. Like, no. Yeah, what I was saying, I said that the things that he's tossed, it's been like clothes, and then today was a mop, and I'm like, it's nothing valuable or anything fragile, but this has happened to me, surely it's happening to others. And if somebody does have something more valuable or fragile, I don't want somebody else's stuff to get messed up. So that's why I felt the need for other people that I needed to say something. And the man at the post office who I talked to was like very, very considerate. He was so upset that this had happened to me, and I was like, I'm okay, it's okay. But this is a different mail lady, because as I said, there's like 3 different mail people that come a day, and she was there when my dad was there, so he just brought the package home, or not home, but to the hotel for me to open. I might have to get a knife because I do not have scissors, so pause. Donna. This thing is huge. This is huge. Okay, I did not even look and see where this is coming from, because this knife is really big, so I'm being careful. This package is coming to us from Kurhanskin, New York, from Jade. So thank you, Jade, even though I bought this from her. But you know, okay, did we get it with that? Got it open. I think it's gonna be the reindeer book, because it kind of smelled smokery, and that is an older book, and I feel like those are more likely to smoke. But it says, thank you for supporting my small business, of course. Okay. I don't know. Which book is this big? But yeah, it smells like old. And then we're wrapped up in this BK82 Tales of the Beach House. Okay, yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah, so much packaging. I know, like, I personally, I don't, well, I guess when they're throwing it, I do care if it's packaged well, but, okay, so then we have another layer here. It's tissue paper. This is a funny cover. This book right here, it must be self-published or something. I'm not seeing a publisher on the side, but this is Tales from the Beach House by James Allott. I don't remember where I heard about this book from. This guy was a previous Hollywood paparazzo photographer. Wow. But this is, I think, like a collection of stories all about just different people living at this condo building, I don't know, an old motel. And so that kind of reminded me of The Florida Project, which is a really good movie and I recommend. It says, Tales from the Beach House is a satiric work of fiction that sharply captures the man bites dog world of contemporary Florida. The Beach House, a crumbling old motel, is home to a collection of truly eccentric residents, each one of them in search of something: fast money, an easy hustle, fleeting romance, enduring love, fame, power, dignity, happiness, a place they can call home, as well as facing their own tender, tragic, and often hilarious personal circumstances. This electric gang is compelled to band together when a sinister developer threatens the very existence of the beach house. So that is what I got. It looks like, yeah, there's 12 apartments that is going over, and then just some other stuff. Badman from the North, funny, but as somebody who lives in like a coastal area with that kind of thing happening, developers coming in, I think it'll be fun. And I'm in Florida. I love Florida, and I think Florida settings are fantastic. So that is the book that I got in the mail today. And my dealings with the US Postal Service, my dealings with the vets. Yeah, and the vet, there were just some dogs. Like, there was a group of 3 that were just yapping the whole time. And I mean, that would be me. Like, if I was a dog, that would be me at the vet, because like, y'all know when I go to like the dentist or doctor, I'm just like a nervous wreck the whole time, and I wish I could bark like that. Like, I wish. Like, they have to sedate me. No, so what time is it? It is 5:31, so I still have 29 minutes before I read again. Might have a little snack. I did have this meal that I have already, but we like snacks. They're fun. Hey guys, time for my reading update. I don't have a whole lot of new thoughts. This is honestly giving 2-star vibes, but our story has got to Baghdad now, and it has gotten a lot more vivid. So to remind y'all, this is taking place during the 3rd Crusades, to give y'all emphasis on that. And I don't know if this is, so technically it was on my historical fictions shelf, and since this is a retelling, I don't know if any of these are real people or were real people or not, but we'll get more into that when I get to one of my notes that I took today. I read 94 pages, I think. I'm at 43% of the way into the book. My first notes, so as I told y'all, there's like bits of her telling a story to her husband and her sister, and the story there has been like references to Egypt, and it has me wondering who ruled Egypt after the Romans. I do not know. I know the Romans, and then I know like what we have today. Nothing else. That's all I know. So the city of Bam, which is where our characters are from, where our characters live, I do not know where that is, and that is this one that I can't really Google, because like the word Bam, B-A-M, you know, that's just other things are going to come up. So it says the Jabal Berez Mountains. So because they are on a caravan heading west, I did underline that so I can look that up to have an understanding. But now I know we're in Baghdad, but where were they before Baghdad? We have another tab. So speaking of the Crusades, and if this is historical fiction or not, I was like, have I read anything else that takes place during the Crusades? And I have read 2 books with Eleanor Buck Twain as a character. And she was queen, I don't know if it was France or England, but I would say France at the time of the Crusades, and she did go to Jerusalem. And I was like, okay, so that's somebody we have from the West, and then we have Scheherazade, who is from the East. And I think Eleanor was just, from what I've read, you know, feels so much more powerful, like feels like the bad bee in the room, feels like the boss A, B, and she gives off that powerful energy. But I had to remind myself, okay, she was somebody who had been in power for a lot longer. Also, the writers of the books that I read about her, she was a character in Matrix by Lauren Groff, and she was also had her own book. The Captive Queen, I think was the name, was it Alison Weir or Philippa Gregory? I think it was Alison Weir. But, you know, more experienced writers, so maybe they can present it better, because this is a debut here. But, you know, that doesn't really mean anything in the long scheme of things, because you can be a rookie and still be fantastic. It's really, it's different for everybody. And next, as I said, the writing, now that we're in Baghdad, has gotten just a lot more vivid, and here's an example of that. Sheltered from the hustle of Baghdad, I can hear the soft trickle of fountains, the whispering rush of narrow canals, as well as the shy purr of turtle doves and ring doves, the bold chants of parrots and blackbirds. It is a small taste of paradise, a block of sugar melting in your mouth as your eyes open at the sweetness. So I liked that. I liked that vivid writing there. So that's all for the day for Every Rising Sun. And I'm not ending the vlog here because I do think I'll finish Every Bone a Prayer tonight. I'm at 94% of the way into that. I think I only have like a chapter left. So obviously we will have to review that book together and then I will edit the video. The internet wasn't great earlier, like in the 10 o'clock hour when I was editing this week's ASMR video. So I don't know, I don't think it'll be better at night because I'm just seeing all these people coming into the hotel. If you are somebody who has stayed in a hotel, what time do you like get there for the night? What time? Because check-in's at like 3 or 4, you know, depends on the hotel. So I'm somebody, we try to get there as close to that as possible. I never really travel that far. The farthest I've been recently was Williamsburg, Virginia, which is, I don't know, was it like a 7-hour trip? I feel like it probably wasn't even that long, but I'm not somebody who travels like great distances or anything, so I usually get there right around the time of check-in. So what time do y'all check into a hotel when you're traveling, or does it vary? Let me know. I am here to do my review for Every Bone of Prayer. So we're gonna open my reading journal that I went and picked up from my house today. So we just need to get it to the right page. And if at the end of the year, if y'all would like me to do a video showcasing every page I've done for a book I've read, let me know and I can definitely do that. I used to do a lot more videos showing my journaling, but now since I just do these journals that are like structured and I'm not making it myself, I don't really do those anymore. I show y'all how I make my Kindle backgrounds and that's pretty much it. So we are going to do characters, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic, enjoyment. That is what makes a book review. And I do have some notes that I took on my phone that I wanted to make sure that I got, because y'all know my last review that I did for y'all was just very chaotic and I was leaving things out, so I did put some notes in my phone so I remember to talk about them. But let's start with the characters. I did like our character of Misty, seeing the innocence of a child, see that innocence be broken but still trying to hold a grasp of it and finding oneself in nature. I did like that. I wish there might have been more of a connection, and with I think the side characters were a bit two-dimensional. I would have liked them to be a little bit more developed. I do think this is a character-driven story, but then we have the plot that has themes, which I think all add into it being character work. But the atmosphere, I would give a 4, because I really did love the nature writing here. And when I recommend some other books, like if you like these books, you might like this book, or vice versa. With the nature writing, yes, the nature writing was so good. This is taking place in Appalachia. I'm not sure what state exactly. I don't think it's said, but it really does immerse you into the holler. And yeah, it just feels like Appalachia. I don't know, like I'm somebody who I visit Appalachia at least once a year, minus when Hurricane Helene happened. So it's something that someplace I'm really familiar with, where I have roots. So I don't know, maybe that makes it more vivid for me, but I do think the nature writing was done in a fantastic way. But the actual writing itself, I'm giving it 2, because that is what ruined this book overall for me. It was very overwritten. Like, this is purple prose, where it's trying so hard to be pretty that it takes away from that character work. It takes away from that plot. And it just made me dread picking up the book. Also, there were definite pacing issues because this was a really slow start. It took me a little bit to get into. And then once we get to the end, like the last 20% of the book or so, it was so chaotic, this ending, because I was like, what's real, what's fake, what is happening here? Because this is magical realism, and magical realism is something where you really have to suspend your belief. You know, you have to just be like, yep, crazy stuff happens. Like, people are born with these abilities and everything, and the battery is dying, so we gotta be pretty quick about this. With the plot, I do think the plot did do a decent job of showing themes of like hurt people, and everybody is going through something, and how somebody being abused is trying to grasp at the straws of what they know and how they're trying to make sense of the world around them. But with the intrigue, it's a 2-star because the writing style ultimately fell into that intrigue where I didn't really care what was happening, and then I was really confused as well at the end. So logic, we are going to give a 3 because I think it makes a lot of sense why the characters were the way that they were and just how that story was told. And for enjoyment, we are going to give it a 3-star as well. So I'm gonna do the math to find out what all of this is, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a white emoji in the comments below. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye. I'm sorry the battery died.